And I was so anxious in the beginning that I used to carry a knife in my bag just to be safe. And it has happened with me. I had to live one whole day in dark without electricity. Hello, I'm Supriya Rao and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to talk about my first impression of Canada and what all things I did in the first 10 days of coming here. So if you're someone thinking of coming here as a graduate student or undergrad student, or if you're planning to move here with your family on a PR, make sure to watch this video until the end, because I'm going to share my personal experiences with people, how the house hunting went when I came here, how was the process of obtaining all the important documents, and many more such topics. So let's get started. Almost 500,000 students come to Canada every year on study permits, and I came one as two. Now, all of these students who come here go through unique experiences, and most of these experiences are very subjective to each one of them. But today I'm going to try to paint a picture of how this journey has been for me from my point of view. Now, I came to Canada with a complete blank slate because I had zero exposure to the Western world back in India. I was a total Bollywood freak. I was never interested in watching English TV shows or English movies. So for me, it was like entering a whole different side of the world. I came to Canada last year in August after I got acceptance from University of Alberta for a 2-year thesis-based master's. So this university is located in Edmonton City in Alberta province. If you've heard of Calgary, we are pretty close to it. So let's see what was the first thing that I did after coming here. I arrived in Canada 12 days before my classes began, and the first thing that I did after coming here was to get a Canadian SIM card and a phone plan. Now, there are a lot of telecom providers like Rogers, Bell, Fido, TELUS, and you can choose from any one of these, but I had happened to visit the TELUS center first, so I got their SIM card and a phone plan. So for a basic phone plan, it can cost you anywhere between $15 to $30 or even less in some cases. So now I have my SIM card and phone plan, so let's see what I did next. Now, public healthcare is free in Canada, but you need to have a health card to obtain the benefits of it. So to understand the process, I went to the international student department at the university. So they asked me to go to the registry office to get the health card done. So I went there. They gave me a form to complete. I filled the form. They asked for a government issued ID, which was my passport. I showed that to them. And that's it. They told me that the health card will be delivered to my home in 7 to 10 days. So while I was applying for health card, they also asked me if I want Alberta ID. So it was a good idea actually to get the Alberta ID so that I can use Alberta ID everywhere instead of showing my passport. So the process was similar to health card. They just click photo of you for the ID, and you have to complete a form. They need your passport and they'll process it and deliver it to your home. Then I went on to get the SIN number, which is a social insurance number. It is a 9-digit number that you need to start working in Canada and to access government benefits. It holds all your income details, and there is no fee to get SIN number done. You just have to go to the nearest Service Canada office, show them your study permit, your passport, and fill in some details, and that's it. They print out your SIN number right there and give it to you. That process was again pretty quick. Then I visited University of Alberta to get my student ID and ARC card. Now ARC card, let me show it to you. Now this is the ARC card, and it is a debit card but only for public transport purposes. You can add your fund at any vending machine or online, and you can just tap on and tap off every time you take a bus or LRT. But if you're a student, your fees for that will be included in your tuition fees. So basically, public transport will be free for you as long as you're a student. Then opening the bank account. Now I had my GIC with CIBC Bank, so I called their customer care and booked an appointment with their representative to open a regular bank account and also to get my GIC monies. These were the essential documents that you should get done as soon as you can. And the one thing that I noticed after collecting all these important documents was how quickly the work gets done in all of the government offices here. Every legal work is super streamlined and organized. It was very convenient, and the communication and timeline was super clear at every step. It saved a lot of hassle compared to the number of visits and time it takes in India to get anything done. Now, looking for a suitable apartment was an adventure in itself. I mostly relied on online rental websites like Kijiji, Rent Faster, or rentals.ca. All the links are in the description below, so you can check them out if you're looking for apartments. My checklist was simple. I was looking for one bedroom apartment which was close to the university and something that was affordable. So my price range was from $800 to $1,200, something in that price range, and there were a lot of options available. Edmonton city is not very expensive for living, so you can easily get many options in this price range. So I preferred utilities to be included in the rent, but it's quite common for Wi-Fi and electricity to be not included if you're renting a whole apartment to yourself. If you're sharing, mostly these utilities will be included. Wi-Fi and electricity alone, it can cost you around $120 every month. I used to look up for apartment and contact the shortlisted ones for viewing. I remember I had 4 viewings every day for straight 7 days, but there were a lot of options available, as I said, because a massive number of students actually come here because there are a lot of universities around here. It took me around 10 to 12 days to finalize the apartment and actually move in. Once you have the apartment, and if you don't have Wi-Fi and electricity included, make sure to contact both the merchants and get it done, because the concept of electricity here is not like in India. Every new person coming in has to set up his own electricity account, otherwise the supply is cut down automatically after 2 to 3 days. And it has happened with me. I had to live one whole day in dark without electricity. I had to move my stuff from fridge to my neighbor's apartment, and it was a whole different hassle. So make sure to get it done right after you move in. After a couple of weeks, when I had settled down, I actually got time to observe things happening around me. One thing I realized was I wasn't getting tired at the end of the day, even after walking everywhere all the time. Of course, the new place and the excitement helped, but majorly it was because of the air quality and everything being so convenient. So even if I had to go to Walmart, I could easily rely on Google Maps. And I knew when to leave my home, I knew which bus to take, when to take, from where to take, and same while coming back. It was easier for me to plan my whole day because of this, and I was actually getting time to put energy into things that really needed my attention at the time. And you do not need a car to get around most urban centers because they're either connected with bus or LRT. Everything is super convenient. My go-to shops were Walmart and Dollarama, or Dollar Store as some of you call it. Now you can get almost all Indian groceries in Walmart here with everything else, and we do have a lot of Indian stores around here, but they were a little far from where I stay, so I mostly relied to get all the Indian stuff from Walmart. Fun fact, there are no prices printed on the products here. They are mostly displayed on the aisle below where the product display is. And it was a little strange for me because in India we have this habit of just looking around a product to check the price. So yeah. And Dollarama is a gem. You can easily get stationery material, cleaning supplies, kitchenware like storage boxes or liquid soaps, everything all under just $4, which is super affordable compared to other places. And even after a year, I feel like there's nothing like Dollarama. Next, and the most important for us Indians, is that there is a sizable Indian population here in Edmonton, in Canada in general. So if you're missing India during your transition phase, you can eat Indian food, hang out with Indian people to get a feel-good feeling. And you can find all the comfort of being Indian except for your family and friends. Another small trouble was that there is a 12-hour difference between Canada and Indian time zone. So whenever it's daytime here, there used to be night there. So for me to call anyone and consult for anything was really difficult. Something very noticeable and worrisome was homelessness here. I mean, we have homeless people in India too, but both of these categories are very different. From a newcomer's perspective, people here are more unpredictable, I felt. And even while looking for apartments, I was trying to look for areas which were not easily accessible by any random person. I also made sure to check the crime rate in that area. I have shared a link in the description here where you can get that. And I was so anxious in the beginning that I used to carry a knife in my bag just to be safe. As I began integrating, things actually started feeling safer. I felt that it was more in my head than actually in reality. And there is a minimal possibility of getting killed by guns just because someone lost their temper. The situation here is absolutely nothing like in US. I would still suggest you to take precautions in the beginning and avoid isolated areas, but otherwise Canada is really safe for any student, any Indian student who comes here. Canadians are always willing to help, and it's easy to make friends here. Being a student 10,000 kilometers away from my home, I've never felt lonely or homesick, even during winters when the days are really short. I mean, the sunset happens at 4 p.m. in the afternoon. So I have friends here from all over the world, and I get to learn something new every single day. And I haven't really experienced any racial discrimination out here, unlike from what I've heard in US. But Canadians are super polite and very friendly. The internet is full of jokes on Canadian politeness. And if you ever feel unsafe or feel like you need help figuring out something, anyone around you will be ready to assist you. I would like to share one incident that happened to me. So I had gone shopping at IKEA while setting up my apartment, and I had 3 huge shopping bags with me to take home, and it was a 40-minute ride from IKEA to home, and I had to change 2 buses. So in those 40 minutes, 7 to 8 people asked me if I needed help carrying anything, because people could see I was struggling and they didn't hesitate to offer help. It gave me a sense of relief that I'm not alone here, and that people come from similar background as me, and everyone's trying to figure out life here. So don't worry about the people here, you'll feel totally welcomed. At first there will be several cultural shocks, because there might be 3% of Indians here. However, the rest of the Canada is of other cultures and ethnicities. So there will be a constant mix of surprises and perplexities. But everyone here is considerate, and one thing is for sure, that you should learn small talk, because having conversations with absolutely random strangers, from the guy at the checkout at Superstore, or even folks in elevator, to just about anybody out of the blue, it is pretty normal to have conversation with them. And if you don't talk or don't smile looking at them, you might come out as rude. So try to have an open mind and have conversations with people around you. The famous Canadian weather. Now, the weather was pleasant when I came here in August. It was fall. It was around 20 degrees, but the climate is a drastic change for Indians, I feel. It can be 20 in the afternoon and -2 in the evening or at night. So I had to get used to this 20 degrees jump in a day. I always had to make a habit of checking the weather before going out, and also what will it be like while coming back, so whether or not I had to carry a jacket with me. And yes, winters are of course harsh. -40 doesn't sound that great. But try to go out and learn winter activities like ice skating or sledging, or maybe skiing if you like, because it can really get lonely, especially in winters when the sun sets at around 3:30 or 4 in the afternoon. I chose to speak about my experiences here in a hope that it will help someone someday who's moving to Canada. The answer was long though, but some stories just cannot be covered in one-liners or bullet points. But if you want to know anything more or have any more questions, please feel free to comment and I'll be happy to answer them. And I'm going to make another video about the education system here and my experience learning at University of Alberta, so stay tuned for that. And yeah, if you want me to cover any more topics, just let me know and I'll try to make videos on that going ahead. So stay happy. Bye bye.